Hey, what's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegis back with you. We're live on the News 6 YouTube page and News 6 Plus, clickorlando.com, all of the above. Thank you a ton for being here tonight. We're just going to hang out, talk about the weather. We get together at about 10 o'clock every single night, Monday through Friday, to just kind of have the conversation. I like to nerd out about weather, like to talk about how the weather impacts you, sometimes get a little sciencey involved, but all about the impact. I know your yard is a little crunchy. We're starting to really get into trouble, unfortunately, across Central Florida in terms of the drought situation. We really got into the nitty gritty last night. We're going to talk much more about that tonight as we have actually some bigger wildfires going on right now, especially in Volusia County. That's not contained right now. We had a bigger one in around Groveland today in Lake County. That one is contained, but it's still a little breezy outside. So we are going to be watching that. Post in the comments where you are watching from. That should have CW Stidham name on there. I don't know why it came up blank, but watching from Orlando, Barbie in Wekiva Springs. Thanks a ton for being here. We'll try to get that working. Always has to be a technical issue. Always. It wouldn't be fun without it. All right. So, again, over the next few minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it may be, as we shoot the breeze about the weather. It is a little breezy outside. This is one of the issues why we have some of the wildfire issues going on. Of course, we know we're in the drought situation. It's going to get even drier, if you can believe that. The air is going to turn drier. We have a cold front coming through. So we are going to talk all about that through the course of this. Before we kind of get into some of the weather and the ingredients that we have that are going to increase that fire threat over the next couple of days, I do want to show you kind of the more breaking situation, if you will. This is an update in Volusia County, and this is looking at the Florida Forest Service website where we have some of the fires, and the red kind of diamonds indicate where there's an active fire that is not contained. So we were really watching earlier. Sky 6 was up over this fire. We had a ton of smoke. Thankfully, at least at this time, no structures are threatened, although the fire has grown through the course of the evening. It's this one here, this red diamond, the power line fire. And you can see the stats on this. This was updated last at 8:22 from the Florida Forest Service. So I don't have any other updates other than that, hoping to get another one before the 11 o'clock news tonight on News 6. So if we have that update, we will, of course, bring it to you at 11 o'clock. So catch us on the TV side, or you can download News 6 Plus for free, smart TV, Roku, Amazon TV, all that fun stuff. You can catch our signal on if you don't have cable, if you cut the cord. Right now, the stats on this is it's up to 270 acres. When we talked at 6 o'clock at News 6 at 6, this was just over 100 acres, and it was just shortly after 6 o'clock that it was a 200-acre fire. And now, as of 10:05, and really as of 8:22, that's the last update we got from the firefighters out there. 270 acres fire burned, with only being 5% contained. So that's the concerning part, the only 5% containment. The Florida Forest Service and the other fire departments across Central Florida have been working numbers so far this season. They've been on it, as they always are, but have been quick to get these things contained and then it's extinguished. So when you see something that's been burning for a little bit of time, only 5% contained, when certainly approaching 300 acres, and we're likely over 300 acres, if you kind of project out where we were at 6 o'clock, it starts to get a little more concerning again. Thankfully, we don't have anything around there, at least no structures are threatened. We also, during the evening, had this thing pop up closer to I-4. This is the staging fire. This is as of 8:56 this evening. 5-acre fire, 0% contained in Volusia County. So that's where we're really concerned right now with those active fires. We had one in Groveland earlier. This one damaged some buildings as a result of the fire, but 100% contained at 13 acres burned. I know there was some concern a little bit about the breeze out there. Thankfully, tomorrow that wind is going to start to back off a little bit. So that's a few of the things that we are watching. Of course, we're in our dry season. We talked about this yesterday, that we are even abnormally dry for the dry season, and that's what's helping to fuel, at least giving us the tinder for things to burn. By the way, the live pictures or the live video that we have coming in, brought to you by our friends at WeatherStem. So Alafaya near UCF is above my head in the Brady Bunch box, and then below my head, we are have a live look in Bushnell in Sumter County. So always like to give you guys a more hyper local look at this 10 o'clock hour. We can just kind of hang out and talk about the weather. So post in the comments where you're tuning in from if you're just joining in, if you have that ability to do so. If you have any questions, of course, hit me up, post those in the comments as well. And and if you find this video helpful or this live stream, we are live. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It does help us out a lot, trying to kind of grow the base of some credible, and I like to have the interaction with you guys, especially as we get ready to get into storm season and hurricane season and stuff. We'll be here tracking stuff all night long, whenever that is applicable. And again, the sea breeze storms, those rocket storms we get almost every noon, those are right around the corner. At least we hope to put an end to this drought situation that we have really gotten ourselves into. Thursday is going to be the critical day. That's when we get the new update from the United States Department of Agriculture on if the drought has progressed. We may find out that it has. At the very least, it's not going to improve. Okay, so those are the current winds and wind gusts. We're going to get into relative humidity in just 1 second. The one thing I want to add, and the new nugget to this, and we were actually talking about this last night. Who was with us last night? Post in the comments if anybody was watching last night. We broke down this, and let me find it again. I'm a person that has like a bunch of tabs open on my browser, and I do the same thing with my weather show, kind of like my PowerPoint slide that I show you. So on the nightly news on everything. So it takes me a second to find some of this stuff, but I wanted to show you that drought index again. We'll see if the numbers went up, and they did. Again, the 500 is really that critical mark. At least Lake County, we keep on picking on Lake County because that's where officials have made it abundantly clear that at 500, the burn ban goes into effect. And to get out of the burn ban in Lake County, which we do have until further notice, and it's going to take a while to get out of this one, that number has to come below 500 on this Keach-Byram drought index and stay under 500 for 5 consecutive days. Well, Volusia yesterday joined the 500 club, and we are really, really close to Seminole getting into the 500 club. And again, we don't want to be in the 500 club, to be clear. The higher the number, the worse the situation. And we jumped up big time in Orange and Seminole County. So I would not be surprised if tomorrow or by the end of this week, and again, I have no inside information on what the officials are going to do, but with 500 kind of being that critical number, and I think we're going to get there in Seminole and Orange County, if not tomorrow, then by the end of this week, because we are going to be super dry and we are going to be super hot, especially as we head into Easter weekend. So I would not be surprised. And again, keep checking back with News 6. We'll, of course, give you official wording as we get it from local neighborhoods, municipalities, counties, things like that, when it becomes official, because I really, really think we are going to be heading in that direction in Orange and Seminole, maybe even Brevard, maybe even Polk. Orlando Magic just won. If you guys were watching that, beat up the Hawks pretty bad. Just got that push alert. Jamie Say is going to have the latest on that, our sports director, at 11 o'clock if you are a Magic fan. So we have a date with Boston. That's not going to be an easy series, to say the least. Anyway, that's my squirrel moment. Polk County, also by the 500. So again, we're trending into that direction where we're gonna have kind of a widespread burn ban really starting to come out. And the new news again at about early this afternoon was that Volusia was officially added into that. So again, no burning in Lake, no burning in Volusia. Really, nobody should be doing that. So that's kind of the wrap on that. I'd like to go into the deep dive. Now, tomorrow we do have a cold front coming through. Here's where the front is right now. Nope, that is not the updated surface map. Let me update that. There it is. So that's the front. Behind this front, the air is not that cold, but it's actually drier than what we've had out there now. Again, you can feel a touch of humidity outside, but it's nothing crazy. In all things considered, it was very, very dry. So I do want to show you something. Show of hands, who has heard of relative humidity? Who has heard of dew point before? Post in the comments if you've heard of those two weather terms. There's a big difference. Dew point is basically, it's the most important number when it comes to your comfort. Relative humidity is just kind of what it says. It is relative to something. It is relative to the temperature in this case. So at night, we basically get relative humidity at 100%. So whenever it's kind of one of my things, it's used incorrectly. It's okay, the humidity is at 100%. It's at 100% a lot of times overnight. That's when the temperature is meeting the dew point. More often than not, though, even in the summer, the relative humidity isn't at 100%. That's when the dew point gets kind of ugly, is in the 70s. That's going to be a story for another time, that real benchmark and real breakdown of dew point. But you see the relative humidity starts getting high. So it is harder for fires to ignite in the evening through the early morning because we do naturally get more moisture in the atmosphere as the temperature falls and gets closer to the dew point. The relative humidity goes up. So you see there we have relative humidity is not terrible in the lower 80s right now, a little drier as you get towards the coast. Why this is critical, though, is because this afternoon we had values for perspective in the 30s and 40s. So it's pretty dry. Watch what happens, though, after the front comes through tomorrow. So this is going to be a big deal. This is 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that front comes through at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And by the way, really no rain coming with that. We could use it. Not going to get it, unfortunately. But watch what happens to the relative humidity numbers as we move through the second half of the morning into the early afternoon. This isn't good because it's already really dry and these numbers get to critical values. I would not be surprised if a red flag warning for high fire danger gets issued. The one thing I think holding that back is the wind, because I don't think the wind is going to be all that strong tomorrow. If we did have gusty winds on top of that, then we'd be in real trouble. But the point I want to make with this is that the air is going to be super, super dry tomorrow. And that's going to make the sun a little more powerful to really just help dry things out even further. And with no real rainfall chance in sight, as I'll show you on the 7-day forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes, it's not good. It's not good for our drought situation. I'll kind of show you. I got to pull up my, if I have it somewhere. Again, I've got a bunch of things open because I have a bunch of stuff that I want to show you guys. So I lose it. So bear with me for 1 second, and then I'm gonna pull it in from this one. Here we go. That is not the one that I wanted. Found it, I think. Okay, so this kind of tells the story here. And sorry for my lapse where I talk to myself in my head. This is through Sunday. So Tuesday through Sunday, the next 5-6 days, that's where all the rain is. Texas, through parts of the Mid-South, into the Northeast, it goes up and around Florida. Maybe a sprinkle. And so that's through Sunday. Let me extend this model out. Let's go through Tuesday. There's a little bit of rain. That's going to be another cold front that arrives early next week. So there's a little bit of opportunity. We'll take that out about further. And then we let that front pass all the way through. I mean, it's something, but certainly a tenth of an inch of rain is not going to do a thing to help us out. And I mean, we'll have to look at that closer as we get there to see if there's even enough oomph as that front comes through to deliver us any kind of rain. I mean, the air has just been so dry. That's something that we're going to be concerned with as well. That are we going to actually be able to get rain to materialize? So that's a couple of things that we are going to be watching. All right. As I kind of rambled on and got real in depth with some of that fire stuff, in your backyard in Oviedo, it's in the low 70s right now, 79 in Titusville. We're into the upper 60s in Leesburg, 69 in Groveland. Holopah, we are at 73 degrees. Micco, we are at 74 degrees. Now, tomorrow morning, again, do watch out for any kind of smoke on your morning commute. Trooper Steve and Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos, they are going to be with you at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's when News 6 Mornings begins. Do me a favor, tune into them. They are going to have the latest here. Of course, Trooper Steve going to be watching the roads to make sure we don't have any smoke crossing State Road 44. And then obviously Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is going to be watching to make sure the wind direction and all that stuff, because there will be a change. It's going to be coming out of the west and northwest tomorrow versus out of the west and southwest today. That's going to be where we have a little bit of change coming through. So that's something that we're going to be watching closely. So she's going to have the latest on that as Trooper Steve watches the roads for you guys to make sure we don't have any crazy visibility issues. High temperatures tomorrow back in the lower 80s. So a couple of notches cooler than where we were today. And you can thank that very weak cold front for that coming through. Otherwise, we're not talking about a huge change other than the drier air that's going to surge in behind it. Now, I mentioned the winds before. Today was the breezier of the 2 days as this front approaches and passes. It still might be a touch breezy through the early afternoon. Certainly, the wind is not going to be gusty, and that's why we may stay out of the red flag warning, or that fire weather warning, as it's sometimes called, that for that really critical fire danger. The air is super dry, but the wind component, it's not going to be there as much as what we had, let's say, last week or even today, to coincide with that very, very dry, very, very low relative humidity that's out there. All right, we're going to end it on this 7-day forecast. So if you guys have any questions, please post them in the comments. Do me a favor, hit that like button. If you have found this weather hangout, that's what I like to call this. We're just hanging out, just chilling. So post in the comments. I like to have this interactive and get you guys involved and show up your comments, give you a shout out, all that stuff. That's why I like to have fun on this 10 o'clock news. Get to know you guys. So thank you a ton for being here. 7-day forecast. There's that. Remember I showed you Tuesday, took that forecast model out to Tuesday. There it is. That's what we officially have forecast here at News 6, the News 6 weather team. 20% chance for rain on Tuesday. It's not that great of a chance. So the next 7 days, more often than not, it is going to be dry. Certainly, if you have to paint a fence or seal a deck, do anything that requires multiple days of dry weather in the Central Florida area, you are good to go. But it's going to be interesting as we watch, again, that Keach-Byram Drought Index. And by the way, watch that chocolate. Easter Sunday, it's going to be super hot, pushing 90 degrees on Sunday, then early next week again. The cold fronts are going to start to get numbered. I mean, you know the drill. We're getting into April. It's getting a little hot out there. Yeah, it might almost be time to completely switch that. Appreciate that, CW Stidham. My let's see if the comment thing's sending over. No, I don't know why it's blank. It's never done that to me before. What the heck? I've never seen that. We'll have to look into that. Or that's what I'm gonna do as soon as I get off of here. We're gonna figure out why that's being weird like that. So sorry about that, or else I'd put your name on the screen. I'm trying, but thank you, my friend, for tuning in tonight. Um, that drought index, we're gonna kind of watch this go up every day. And I mean, again, it's one of my favorite things to show. I show it a little bit on TV, but it needs a really extended breakdown for those that don't use it every day and know what it is. That Keach Byram drought index. And Eric, and sorry again that the comment thing isn't working to pull your comment over, but Eric asked, he says, "Hi, could fires happen?" In the Orlando area the next few days. Certainly, um, if there is a spark, it's certainly going to be able to spread. Everything is very, very dry. And let me show you, I was just getting ready to pull that up again, that Keach Byram drought index, because this is what we all need to follow. Um, I'm the Sunday morning, evening, 1 star awake or sleeping. Says, "Yep, worried about this fire thing. We are in a danger zone right now. No relief in sight. Burn ban coming." Yeah, I mean, I can see multiple Central Florida counties added to that burn ban by the end of this week. And I mean, just simply, again, this is. So if you missed the explanation last night, as I always say, okay, this is the last thing. Then the great questions come out, and then we always start rambling on again. So I hope you enjoy the rambling. There's a method to the madness, though. So I thank you again, guys, for being here. Um, 500 is really starting to get into the critical number. Um, so you see, Lake, we have gotten into the orange category. So now we're in the 550s. So we're starting to really get up there. Okay. Um, and at 500, Lake County induces their burn ban. Volusia today just officially went in their burn ban, and now they are above 500. They're at 517. I would suspect we jumped like, I'll have to go back and look what it was in Seminole and Orange. I want to say it was either in the 470s or 480s. And please, if someone remembers what that was yesterday at this time, whenever we talked, but it jumped 10, maybe 20 points. So I would suspect that we're going to get into the 500s, if not tomorrow, then by the end of this week. So, I mean, to answer to the point again, can fires happen in Orlando? Yeah, I mean, everything is super dry. The air is going to be even drier tomorrow. The one positive thing, at least in tomorrow's eyes, is that the wind is going to back off a little bit, which that would really only help preventing the spread a little bit more. So, again, I can see more Central Florida counties added to the burn ban by the time we get into Easter weekend. If not, then maybe early next week. But it's really starting to get into that critical phase, and I'm excited to. I'm excited. Not what I'm saying is I'm excited to kind of go over this with you and kind of break this down together on Thursday. I wish all of that was gone. Is what I'm trying to say. But the drought monitor is, I mean, this gets updated every Thursday. So from a drought perspective, we'll see if this expands, which it could. It's certainly not going to get any better than this, but we do have the severe drought in play in that narrow ribbon, Bushnell, Lake Panasoffkee, Coleman, Nobleton, Yalaha, Eustis, Mount Dora. Pearson's just outside of it, but we're in a moderate drought. Astor, we're in a severe drought. It's crazy because I mean we were just talking about flooding, and all that is a big, with the hurricane last year, we had the flood on the St. John's again. Now we're talking about the drought. So Eric brings up another good question. Do you think it's climate change or just the time of year? It's likely a little bit of both. So here's the deal when it comes to climate change. Climate change doesn't cause the weather. It kind of puts it on steroids. So it makes it enhances it. So would we be dry at this point if climate change wasn't happening? Yeah, I do think so. Is it giving it a shot in the arm to help enhance it a little bit without doing some of the research on this particular event? It likely is. Um, because we're getting hotter faster, the sun is out, we don't have all that stuff. Now, twofold, it's weird. You can the greater the floods, or when you're in a flood situation, there's more moisture in the atmosphere. That helps it enhance the flood threat, but it also enhances the drought. So it's really the great enhancer of extremes. And so that's what it is. So that's what I always like to tell people, that climate change isn't creating the hurricanes, it's making them stronger and wetter to a certain degree. Like Ian, for example, we'll use Hurricane Ian. Um, it is it provided the flood of record for a lot of Central Florida rivers. I don't think it would have rained, and there is some sound science to back that up. Ian was much wetter than what it would have been otherwise if climate change was taken out of the equation. So I hope that that's making sense again. So it's not creating the weather, it is putting it on steroids to a degree. So again, I've not looked deep into research on this drought event, but I can say with a pretty degree of certainty, it's a combination of both. It's a dry season, so we're normally dry anyway. The current weather pattern, La Nina, by the way, is also involved. Although La Nina officially went away, we've been in that La Nina pattern, which typically sends all of the. Let me see if I have my La Nina graphic in here. Um, it typically sends all of the moisture up and keeps us drier than normal. There we go. So it's a combination of a lot of things. It's our dry season. We're under the influence of a La Nina pattern. This is a very long-winded answer. And I think on top of that, we have the influence of climate change, which is the steroid to all of that. So I hope that answers your question, but it's kind of like a threefold thing going on right now. So we're hoping we break free from that pattern and certainly get some rain in here, but we don't want to go too far the other direction, as we know. That can happen quickly. Alrighty, guys, we've been talking for about 30 minutes now. Really appreciate you all tuning in. I have to get the show ready for 11 o'clock, so I'm going to go work on all of the brand spanking new graphics that are going to come out. We're going to get hyper local. A couple of neighborhoods on there. Talk about your weather for tomorrow. Certainly, we're going to have the latest on the wildfires as well. We're going to see if we can get an update from fire officials out in Volusia County to see if there's been extra containment or if it's spread any further. So tune in to that. That's going to be at 11 o'clock on News 6. If you have cable, that is the CBS affiliate. Again, we are News 6 though. And if you don't have cable, if you cut the cord and are interested in seeing the best local news coverage in Central Florida, you can download News 6 Plus. It is free. There's a lot of cool other content on there, but you can also see our newscasts as well. It's News 6 Plus, Apple TV, Roku, all the things that the smart stuff, the smart TV, the Roku, anything that you can get your streaming stuff on. We are on there. Just search News 6 Plus. Always nice to ramble with you. In the middle of we are in the middle of a solar storm as well. That's a good point. Didn't even talk about that. So especially northern areas have a shot to see the northern lights tonight as well. A lot of stuff going on. That's why we can just kind of ramble on and hang out. So it's good to see you guys. We'll be back here tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Remember, we're going to be over in less than 30 minutes now on News 6. Again, just turn on the TV. We're the CBS affiliate, News 6. And we'll be back here on our little stream, 10 o'clock. And tomorrow morning, if you're interested, and I hope you are, in the weather, in the traffic and all that stuff, especially when there's in regards to the smoke from this fire in Volusia County, Trooper Steve has you covered. And of course, our chief meteorologist, Candace Campos, she will be starting at 5 along with to give you the latest. And then, of course, we'll have the latest headlines and all that jazz. That's tomorrow, 5 a.m., News 6. There I go again. It's like that Midwestern goodbye. I say, all right, we're peacing out tonight, and I keep on rambling on. I'll probably be late for the show because we'll keep on talking about something else. But thank you guys a ton. If you found this live stream helpful, hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you at 11 o'clock, less than a half hour.